Virgil Tibbs.
Virgil. I don't think we're going to have any trouble, are we, Virgil?
No trouble at all.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you just killed yourself a white man, just about the most important white man we got around here, and picked yourself up a couple of $100.
I earned that money 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Colored can't earn that kind of money, boy. Hell, that's more than I make in a month. Now, where did you earn it?
Philadelphia.
Mississippi?
Pennsylvania.
That's just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania, earn that kind of money.
I'm a police officer.
I've had your town up to here. Boy, it would give me a world of satisfaction to horsewhip you, Virgil.
My father used to say that. Even did once or twice.
It was not enough to suit me.
He won an Academy Award for his performance in the Heat of the Night, Rod Steiger.
Sidney, I never met another person who affected, protected an entire race, and who, under that pressure, year after year, maintained an intelligence and a dignity that's impossible to describe. To be made a leader when you don't know if you want to be, and then to lead gloriously. I bow before your spirit. There's only one other thing I'd like to say. I don't want to pick on the Heat of the Night or the words or the script, but there were two words that were not in the film, and I came here tonight to say it to you. Congratulations, Mr. Tibbs.
January 16th, Prohibition's that's the best thing that's ever happened to us. It's gonna make us rich. This is my good friend Al Capone from Brooklyn. He's gonna be my new bodyguard.
Booze, gambling, and frauds. A guy can die happy in a place like this.
C-A-P-O-N-E. That's with the E on the end.
You become a gangster.
Whoa, wait a minute. Don't ever call me a gangster because I don't like that.
Oh, wait a minute. The name is not Capone, it's Capone. Capone.
You run into anything too tough to handle, Scarface, let me know.
Anytime I need help from you, Bugso, I'll go back to Brooklyn, and please don't call me Scarface.
So we're going to take over the whole town, huh? And have one big organization, right?
Do you want to go for the rest of your life taking dimes from a guy who makes dollars? Or do you want...
But Stanley, what is the percentage for a few dollars to cut off our nose and bite our face?
When I say no, I mean no. There have been a few people in this town who have found that out.
But the girl must have...
All right, thank you very much.
Wait a minute. What did Smiley whisper into that phony tin trumpet?
You tell him, Smiley. Dixie's still at the bar, being entertained by a friend of mine.
If anything happens to her...
You're selling fish 4 days old, Kitty. She's with Monty Ritz.
Is he a conspirator, too? Why not?
For all I know, why couldn't you have some kind of blackmail on Monty, too? We're talking about murder.
Your client has to learn how to talk.
We know who the expert is when it comes to murder.
Stanley, please.
A boy like you, who are you? Who are you? You some kind of special aristocracy because the female public wants to make love with you? Who are you with your dirty, unmanicured fingernails? And what? What are you without Hot Federated behind you? I built the studio. I, with my brain and my hand, I ripped it out of the world with my brains and my hands. And who are you?
No, this must stop.
Oh, do I have to listen to this miserable boy? A man like myself who's wined and dined with presidents and kings.
Oh, my aching back.
Do I have to cater to this?
One line of your phony senatorial eloquence, and boy, I'll chop you down like firewood.
It is a bitter, miserable pity to have to talk to you.
That's it. That's the deal.
Charlie, I beg of you, please.
We never have to talk to each other again. Matt, you're my agent. From now on, it's you and him. I never have to talk to him again.
You'll drive me too far.
Oh, will I? What's your boiling point, Uncle Huff? Oh, don't sulk. Don't act bored. And please don't cry.
Charlie, I beg of you, please.
I'm deliberately tampering with your modest ego, Stanley, because today I see what Stanley Shriner Huff would do to protect an investment. Murder.
This man buries himself with his mouth.
Look at him. Get his act. He's trying to play the crocodile, and what is he, a little lizard under a rock?
Smiley, if you get together with the legal department in the morning, you comb through the castle contract and you find me an opening. You find me a peg.
Stanley, I think there's one other solution.
Ah, yes, here it comes, the gimmick, the twist, the old switcheroo. There's always a twist, sweetie. They always work in pairs.
There's an angle to this Dixie problem. Marion, it depends upon you.
What?
You and Charlie have been separated 3 times in the last 2 years. Do you love him enough to make a sacrifice?
Do I love him?
Let him finish, dear.
Dixie would marry Charlie in a minute. It'd be the fulfillment of all her dreams. Community property laws automatically take care of you. Half of everything Charlie owns belongs to you.
Gentlemen, I can't believe my ears.
Let him finish. Before you jump in where it doesn't concern you, Nat. This woman has been having to do with a writer we had on the lot recently.
That isn't true.
From time to time, they had relations.
That just isn't true.
Let me handle this. Of course you have proof.
Records.
You have records of conversations I've had with Mr. Teagle in his office.
And tape recordings in his office and on his couch.
Who ordered such recordings to be made?
I couldn't say. That's out of my hands.
Where are they?
In my car.
Get them.
Get them, Smiley. Get them. Live and let live has always been an important motto with me, Marion Castle. I've nothing against you personally, you understand. But sometimes for the good of the company, I'm forced to play a little rough. Nat, a little sparkling water.
All right. All right. My career is finished, and I'm willing. Namely, because you're the meanest, dirtiest skunk that God ever put breath into. And this is Mr. Huff, a man that I fall down on my knees and thank my maker that I don't have to play ball with him anymore. Excuse me, Charlie dear, that I'm crying. Don't worry, Mary. Don't worry, Charlie. Before I'll get you in trouble, I'll put my own head on the railroad track.
Charlie, there's nothing to defend about those records.
late. Don't you boys ever go home to dinner? And do that for me, Smiley. Take off home. Get him out of here. Stay! Ah, you're so lucky. Bet you if this were a movie, you'd have been on the floor 10 times. It's just a small token. I'll break you. I'll break you like I... No. I'll let the law do it for me. I'll let the law do it for me this time. And you lose everything. You lose everything. This is the scandal and a disaster and a ruin. The dead child's family and the insurance company will take everything off your back in any court in the land. Clothes off your back, off your child's, and off that woman's. Everything goes, John. Everything goes. The house goes. The paintings go. And you. Oh, you go. Oh, no, Charles. Oh, no. You threw away a kingdom today.
Everything goes, Charles. Everything goes. The house goes. The paintings go. And you. Oh, no, Charles. Oh, no. You threw away a kingdom today.
1954, on the waterfront, with the superb performance of Rod Steiger, matched only by the brilliance of Marlon Brando.
Look, you're my brother. I don't want to see you get hurt. Look, all I'm asking is for you to go along with these guys. Look, you're a smart, intelligent boy.
I know. But when they're more talking what's going on, they can't get the way they got to what about other guys.
Is that only way to talk to your brother?
No. Maybe left on the one that got faith and then I got them to go.
You know, Terry, sometimes I just don't understand you.
What are you doing now, Mac?
East 44th on 33rd Street.
What do you say, Mac?
East 44th on 33rd Street.
How's that again, Mac?
Look, you don't let the guy with get going 40 days to get a water getting it.
Oh, why didn't you say so in the first place,
Read the script, I said, wait a minute.
We want a rundown on it. You know, the names and the numbers of all the players. Wait a minute. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Now, you don't think he's one of them lousy sheep herders, do you?
I said buy him out. That's the way I want it.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You're not indispensable. You know, I did pretty good without you.
Then fire me.
Please, I won't listen to that kind of talk.
Well, then don't. I'll hang up.
Now, wait a minute. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Hold it.
You can talk. As a matter of fact...
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Let's not hide anything from the press.
Your boy.
Now, wait a minute. You're supposed to carry Toro for 6 rounds.
Until I talk to them, I want...
Wait a minute now. Listen. Now, wait a minute.
Mr. Attorney.
Whoa. Wait a minute. The name is not Capone, it's Capone. Capone.
He was in your way.
Now, wait a minute. Look, you ain't got no witnesses, right? No, wait a minute. I can go.
Get out.
Wait a minute.
Leave that curse, Father.
Wait a minute now. Listen, don't...
I'm a gangster.
Whoa, wait a minute. Will you at least take the files when you think I'm talking to you for? What's that? Wait a minute. What's that? Oh, wait a minute. Just a second.
Kind of Colin. Wait a minute!
Huh? Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Why don't you come to me?
You're on your way out.
Wait a minute.
I pay my own checks, Capone.
Oh, wait a minute. Look.
Uncle Al!
Wait a minute. What are you talking? Don't Al me!
Bad, you
listen to me. Where you go? Oh, wait a minute. What's going on? Wait a minute. What's going on? What are you doing? Wait a minute now.
Now, wait a minute, fellas. Just for the record.
Suppose you find them. They get a lawyer, and with their dough...
Wait a minute. Whoa, now, look. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute, Mrs. Harmon. You forgot your ticket and you forgot your $2.
Tell me the exact time Cobra was killed, too, can't you?
12:30, while Harvey was still shooting pool.
Yeah, wait a minute, I'll get it.
There's pew chalk under his nails, not dry blood.
Because I've got a train to catch.
Oh, wait a minute, that train don't leave till 12 o'clock noon.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute.
Well, Solange and I are going to go to the movie.
Wait a minute. Can't leave me alone.
No, I don't want to argue. Wait a minute, fellas.
That's a good idea. I think you should get the girl out of here.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean, wait a minute? This is an army base. I said get the girl out of here. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Just a minute. Thank you. Well, I think you should know something.
Then why can't my wife come to the airport? No, wait a minute. You just stay there.
No, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute, please. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt my little girl.
Frank!
Please.
Just wait a minute. Forget it.
Wait a minute.
I don't understand.
Until they start to contradict each other. Then you have to begin to say, wait a minute. Well, I was worrying about her. I said, well, I said, wait a minute.
I'll give her 1 more minute. 1 more minute and that's it.
For years I've known it couldn't happen without the proper ingredients, the right temperature, the right spark to set it off. But now, suddenly, all the conditions are right. With a little daring, the experiment can be made to work.
But I don't want to stick around to find out.
Not even for 1/7 of $4 million. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Edward G. Robinson. Meet the 7 thieves. Each human being like a sharp precision instrument with a job to do. There was the professor, played by me. He held the key to the crime of crimes. Paul, played by Rod Steiger. He didn't like his girl being used as bait.
Now, don't you have any conscience about setting yourself up as a man trap?
Melanie, played by Joan Collins, the dancer who kept them looking the other way.
Could you believe in the morals of a woman whom you've seen almost naked?
Pancho, the beatnik, as the phony baron, played by Eli Wallach, ready to swallow cyanide pills as part of the grand deception.
I measure danger only in terms of profit.
LeMay, played by Alexander Scorby. He sold out Monte Carlo for the touch of a woman's lips. Louis, played by Michael Danby, an artist among safecrackers. And Baumer, the strong boy, played by Barry Kroger. He didn't feel dressed without a gun. But for the moment, Melanie was stealing the show. And while she turned every head in the place, the cleverest thieves in the business were committing the robbery that rocked Monte Carlo, the world's best protected city.
Take it easy.
Dismiss the men and report to the orderly room. I haven't reported any of this yet. I can still overlook all this.
You can what?
Sergeant Callan, I'm relieving you of your duties as first sergeant.
My name is Master Sergeant Albert Callan. And no one has ever relieved me of my duties in my life. And if someone should relieve me, it would not be someone like you!
Look at you! You're gonna come out here and talk to me in front of my men? And by God, sir! Have the decency to come out like an officer and a soldier! Now straighten your shoulders! Walk like a man! Straighten up!
What can I do for you? What do you want?
My diamond engagement ring. I want to borrow.
It's glass.
Glass? You said it was real?
Wednesday or Thursday?
What?
Lunch in the park. Wednesday's better for me.
Wednesday, Thursday, whatever you like. Got a name, boy?
Virgil Tibbs.
Virgil. Well, I don't think we're gonna have any trouble, are we, Virgil?
No trouble at all.
Oh, you can go now, Sam.
Yes, sir.
What'd you hit him with?
Hit whom?
Whom? Whom? What are you? You a northern boy? What's a northern boy like you doing all the way down here?
I was waiting for the train.
Well, now, there ain't no trains this time of morning.
Tuesdays only, 4:05 to Memphis.
You say. All right, you say right. All right, Virgil. Oh, now look. I try to run a nice, clean, safe town here. A town where a man can sneeze and not get his brains beat out. You follow me?
Yes.
Why don't you tell me how you killed Mr. Colbert, and I promise you, you're gonna feel a whole lot better. Not now!
I was visiting my mother. I came in on the 12:35 from Brownsville. I was waiting to go out on the 405.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the meanwhile, you just killed yourself a white man, just about the most important white man we got around here, and picked yourself up a couple of $100.
I earned that money 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Colored can't earn that kind of money, boy. Hell, that's more than I make in a month. Now, where did you earn it?
Philadelphia.
Mississippi?
Pennsylvania.
Just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania, earn that kind of money?
I'm a police officer.
May it please the court, I should like to note the addition of Major Alan Gullion to my staff. He shall conduct the cross-examination of Colonel Mitchell.
Who's he? He's one of the best legal minds in the Army. I didn't know he was in Washington.
And now, Colonel, as an aviation expert, as a flyer who's been highly honored by his government for his services in war and in peace, is there something you wish to say in conclusion?
As an officer in the United States Army, I had to choose between my duty to the Army and what I considered to be my duty to my country. I chose the distasteful method of inviting my own court-martial because I felt that in no other way could I focus attention upon a desperately urgent problem. I hope I made it clear that our country needs an adequate Air Force. But above and beyond that, it needs immediate consideration for the safety of our flyers.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Thank you, Colonel. I know your words will not go unheeded by the people of this country. You may cross-examine.
Colonel Mitchell, I've been studying your war record, and I must confess, it overwhelms me. Those ribbons on your breast, sir, would you mind stating what decorations they represent?
The Distinguished Service Medal, the Distinguished Service Cross, the Legion of Honor, the Crown of Italy, the Order of St. Michael and St. George, the Croix de Guerre.
That's very interesting, sir. Now, Colonel, to your knowledge, are you the only American officer in the Army today that wears such decorations?
Of course not. Many other officers wear them.
I see. Now, tell me this. Have any of these other officers ever been court-martialed?
Objection, that's immaterial.
You needn't answer that, Colonel. I was merely trying to establish what a unique officer you are. That you are very, very different and a very special sort of man. I assume, Colonel Mitchell, you share with me the respect I have for those officers in the American Army who wear as distinguished decorations as your own?
Of course, they earned them.
By risking their lives in combat in the defense of their country?
Yes.
Then why did you call such men traitors?
Objection. That question assumes facts, not an evidence.
Objection overruled.
To repeat the question, in your statement in San Antonio, why did you call such men traitors?
I wasn't referring specifically to any officer.
Oh, but you certainly must have had some men in mind when you accused the General Staff of conduct that was virtually treasonable.
I was thinking of the system of administering air power in the Army and the Navy.
I see. You were speaking in generalities.
Yes.
Well, isn't it possible, sir, that many of your statements have been generalities?
No, sir.
And am I to understand when you use the phrase guilty of criminal negligence, that you meant that?
That statement was and is accurate. Negligence of the ordinary
Forgive me for interrupting, Colonel, but I'm sure the court would like to be clear on this point. You do then reiterate your accusation that certain high-ranking officers in the American Army are criminals.
You're twisting my words.
Colonel Mitchell, did your public attack on the Army start after a series of accidents involving your friends in which some of your friends were killed?
Yes.
Isn't it possible, sir, that the sense of grief that you felt over their loss inspired you to make your statement?
It did not.
Then why didn't you attack your superiors before the accidents involving your friend?
I wasn't ready.
You mean you didn't think the iron was hot enough to strike?
I recall no such thought.
And don't you mean that you wanted to wait until you felt sure that the newspapers would be on your side?
On the side of a bigger and better air service.
Do you consider the press qualified to influence and dictate to the officers?
I object to this whole line of questioning as irrelevant and immaterial. The matter before this court is the facts behind the alleged offense.
May it please the court, the accused is attempting to establish justification for the offense, and I'm trying to prove that there's no justification.
Sustained.
Colonel, I have here original letters written by you to the War Department over the period of the last 2 years. You recognize them?
They're mine, all right.
I've read them with great interest.
I'm glad somebody did.
I should like to question you about some of the statements you make in these communications. You say here that in future wars, soldiers will invade peaceful lands by leaping in parachutes from airplanes in the sky. Would you care to reveal who gave you this startling information?
Nobody gave it to me. It's quite obvious to anyone with the slightest foresight.
I see. Then do you mean that the chiefs of staff of the Army and Navy are not only treasonable and incompetent, but are lacking in foresight as well?
You said that. I didn't.
Now, in this letter, you recommend that the armed forces be separated into 3 branches: the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Is that your opinion?
It is.
Why did you seek to divide the fighting forces of this country?
I didn't mean to divide them. I recommended that they all be combined under a single Department of National Defense, with specialists in command of each branch.
And did you see yourself, sir, in the role of the specialist in command of the Air Force?
Objection. The line of questioning up to now is a familiar one, seeking to falsely characterize the accused by the clever manipulation of semantics.
Sustained.
You state here that the Army should investigate methods of protection against air raids, including alarm signals and bomb shelters. Bomb shelter. Is it your actual belief that this country is vulnerable to attack from the air?
It is my belief, if not now, at least within the foreseeable future.
Colonel Mitchell, do you have any idea of the width of the Atlantic Ocean?
Approximately 3,000 miles.
And the Pacific Ocean?
I know what you're getting at. When I tell you, it won't be long before an airplane will fly nonstop across both oceans.
Carrying bombs.
Carrying bombs.
Colonel Mitchell, do you realize that your declarations, if taken seriously, could result in creating panic among the people of our country?
I'd rather have the people scared than dead.
Now, here's one in which you propose that the government build an academy like West Point for airmen. What do you have against West Point?
I have nothing against West Point. It's a fine school for infantrymen. There should be an equally good school for flyers.
Now, in this one, you make the statement that, quote, airships traveling 1,000 miles an hour will fight each other in the stratosphere, unquote. Colonel Mitchell, do you have any comprehension how fast 1,000 miles an hour is?
Of course I do.
Do you know that it's faster than the speed of sound?
It's approximately 250 miles faster than the speed of sound.
Are there any airplanes today that can go 250 miles an hour?
We don't have any, I can tell you that.
But you said, sir, that they wouldn't only go 250 miles an hour, but they would go 250 miles faster than the speed of sound.
That's correct.
Well, now, would it be asking too much if I could learn from you what crystal ball you got these astounding facts from?
Objection. The prosecutor's attempting to ridicule the witness.
I'll answer that question. There is no crystal ball. Anyone with any knowledge of the air knows that the ultimate speed of aircraft is almost unlimited. It depends only on technical developments.
Amazing. Here's a letter to headquarters you wrote after a short trip to Hawaii. You say, quote, "The Army and Navy commands here are concerned principally with the question of jurisdiction. There is so much petty bickering between them that the islands are virtually undefended." Unquote. Do you consider that a proper observation to be made by an officer about his superiors?
That was written in connection with my belief that air power will control the Pacific. It's very important that the missions of the Army, the Navy, and the air be sharply defined.
Thank you. You seem to have quite a bit to say about Hawaii, Colonel. For example, you write that Pearl Harbor has no adequate defense against air attack.
It hasn't.
And that a foreign power could attack and reduce the Hawaiian Islands in a matter of minutes. Do you actually believe that?
I not only believe it. If you will look into those letters, you'll find my specific observations on how it can be done.
I was coming to that. Oh, yes. Here it is. Your letter dated December 14th, 1923. I'll read this slowly and distinctly because I want the court to know that you are second to none, that you are an expert in palmistry, table tipping, and the reading of tea leaves.
I object. The prosecutor's being abusive.
Objection sustained.
My apologies, Colonel. I'll let your words speak for themselves. Preceded by scouting submarines, enemy aircraft carriers will lay off the island of Oahu at a distance of about 150 miles. The attack will be launched in 2 waves and without warning. The first wave will strike at Pearl Harbor, Schofield Barracks, and the Ford Island Airdrome, and the naval fuel and ammunition dumps. This attack will be followed by a second shortly thereafter, its objectives being the city and wharfs of Honolulu. Colonel, what was your condition? What was your state of mind when you wrote this?
If you mean, was I crazy? The answer is no.
And you still cling to this, prediction?
Unless we repair our defenses, we can certainly be attacked.
I see. Now, there's one piece of information I couldn't seem to find in your communications. Perhaps you could enlighten us. Does your crystal ball reveal by what enemy this mythical attack will be made?
Objection. The prosecutor is goading
By
the
whom,
witness.
Colonel? By
Will
whom?
the court instruct the witness not to answer that question?
I'll answer that question. The attack will be made by the Japanese.
Prosecution would like to submit these documents as the exhibit next in order.
They will be received.
Colonel Mitchell, what explanation the War Department will have to make to the Japanese ambassadors beyond the province of this court. However, now that you have said your say, now that you have done your little piece, now that you have proclaimed your vision, might you not say that you have overstated your case and upon sober reflection, things aren't as bad as you said?
Most certainly not. I meant every word of it, and I still do.
Then I submit, Colonel Mitchell, that you are guilty of the most flagrant disorder to the prejudice of good military discipline.
I don't agree.
Colonel Mitchell, is it your desire today to remain in the Army?
It is.
And should the occasion arise in peace or war and you thought your superiors wrong, would you rush to the newspapers with attacks against their behavior?
Objection. That question is ridiculous and outrageous. The witness is being asked to speculate on his future conduct.
Why not? Why not if the witness can speculate on the future conduct of the world and its armies? The issue bears on the only question before this court, Colonel Mitchell's qualifications to remain in the United States Army.
I'll answer that, Major. I don't know what I would do tomorrow.
Then you don't know if you could behave as an Army man.
I didn't say that.
Are you ready to give unquestioned obedience to your superiors, even though you may consider their conduct negligent and incompetent?
I consider myself a good soldier.
Oh, well, now. Then you have changed from that William Mitchell who denounced his superiors in Texas.
I have not changed.
Oh, then you still insist upon your right to break an Army rule.
I didn't say that either.
I am merely trying to establish your exact feelings on the question of insubordination. Colonel Mitchell, what is the first duty of a soldier to his superior?
We've been over that.
Are you afraid of the word, sir?
What word?
The word that answers my question in all the armies of the world is the word obedience.
You're trying to quibble me out of the Army. You know better than to call me disobedient.
Colonel Mitchell, why didn't you resign from the Army and conduct your campaign legitimately from a civilian position?
Because I'm an Army man, sir.
And do you consider your statement in Texas justified?
Objection. The witness is being asked to pass judgment on himself.
I'll answer my...
Colonel Mitchell, you don't have to answer that question. Objection sustained.
In view, then, of your present opinion that your superiors are negligent and incompetent, could you give them unquestioned obedience should you be returned to duty?
I asked the court to instruct the witness not to answer that question.
I'll answer that question, too. You've asked me to state that I am unfit to remain in the Army because I have incurred the hostility of my superior officers. I can't admit that, and I won't. I've been wearing the uniform of the United States Army most of my adult life, and I've worn it with pride. But if being a good soldier is your kind of good soldier, of being unable to think for himself and say what he thinks, of being narrow and blind and insensible to a higher duty, you can have the uniform and all that goes with it. If trying to do something for your country, if fighting to correct injustice is being a bad soldier, then I'm glad I'm a bad soldier. This issue goes far beyond being a good soldier in his sense of the word. It goes beyond blind obedience and depends on a man's faith in his knowledge of what is right. If being a good soldier is submitting dumbly and passively to injustice, indecision, and complacency, then I'm glad I'm a bad one. Really.
Thank you, Colonel Mitchell. That's all. No further cross-examination. The Army rests its case.
Does the defense wish to make a closing statement?
The defense has nothing further.
The court will retire to consider its finding.
when the court enters.
Court will come to order. The accused will stand. Colonel William Mitchell, the court in closed session and upon secret written ballot, 2/3 of the members present at the time this vote was taken concurring therein, finds you of all specifications and the charge guilty. Order in the court. The court again in closed session and upon secret written ballot, 2/3 of the members present concurring therein, sentences you to be suspended from rank, command, and duty, with forfeiture of all pay and allowances for a period of 5 years. The court is thus lenient because of your military record during the World War. The court is adjourned.
Do you have a statement to make, Colonel?
Will you remain in Washington, Colonel? Is there anything, sir?
But how do you feel about the Army now, Colonel?
The Army owes me nothing. I owe the Army everything.
What do you intend to do in private life?
Couldn't you give us a real great kind of present? We'd like to write a story in behalf of the
Thank you, gentlemen. Russ, carry on.